Hi guys, it's Rob Curtis again from PSIMET Wheels. I wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about one of the new standards that's hitting the industry. I think if you've been around this game very long at all, you hate all of the new standards that are getting introduced. But you know, they're a fact of life nowadays, and it's kind of what we work with. So unfortunately, we're having to talk about it, but in this particular instance, we're talking about a new standard from Mavic called Speed Release. It's kind of their way of trying to find a quick acting, quick release system that's also through axle. So they've designed these speed release axles, and they're having their sister company, ENVE, is making forks that are speed release compliant now. And we just got in a new Van Dessel Motivus Maximus that is also speed release compliant. The only issue is that when working with the speed release standard, your through diameter for your through axle and your hub has to be a consistent 12 millimeter all the way through. To kind of illustrate what I mean here, it shows it on here on the tag. It has to be the same diameter all the way through. It can't open up in an inner diameter on the inside of the hub like most hubs are. Now, unfortunately, most hubs are end cap based, which means that you can remove the end caps, put a different standard on, swap it between bikes and so on and so forth. But because of that, there's this larger diameter gap in the center of the hub. So kind of one of my first instincts was, all right, how are we going to fix this? Because we need to be able to use our hubs and or every hub that we've ever wanted to use on these same bikes and still be able to use them with the Mavic Speed Release system. You can, to my knowledge, also use a standard through axle in this same setup, as long as it's got the same threading. It just has one dropout on the one side and then threads in on the other. And to kind of show you, even though this one particular hub has end caps, it ends up being long enough to be able to be usable. But the way that this works in practice is it drops in, you push the hub or the axle in, or that's threading. No. Maybe you push it in, you thread it, and then that's basically a torque click over on it so that you know you got the same torque on it. Then when you want to pull the hub out or the wheel out, it's only a couple turns, you pull out and it drops the whole hub down. So there we have speed release. It's quick, it keeps the through axle in the hub itself. It's got some nice features. If it's adapted as a standard, it'll be awesome. If it's not, well, then it'll just go down in the annals of another bike standard that just disappeared. But I can't use this on hubs that are hollow, and let's face it, most of the hubs that we work with have that hollow design. Specifically, our in-house hubs have that hollow design. This one barely works. Also, I have to double check White Industries. I think that's a through axle, same diameter the whole way, but I know Industry 9, Chris King, a lot of those are replaceable through cap ends. So what we're gonna try here, I have an Industry 9 hub. As you notice, you can pull off the end cap. It's a larger diameter inside than the through axle bore. So what we're actually going to do is machine a little spacer, like an axle, a sub-axle, to go in there and act as a bushing to take up that slack to create that 12 millimeter diameter all the way through the axle to allow us to use the speed release standard. We're going to do that by simply machining some Delrin, basically plastic. We've been using Delrin a lot in a lot of cycling applications. Like the bushings that are used for converting like a GXP crank to be able to use on a BB30 bottom bracket. Those bushings are made out of the same material. So easy to find, easy to get from even McMaster. But we're gonna basically turn it down to the OD that we need to slide in here. We're gonna part it off to the right length after we've drilled a 12 millimeter through hole through it, and we should have a sub axle to go through there, and it should be able to work just fine. All right, so here we are. a few hours later, I got to play with my toy lathe over there in the corner, and that's the end result. Basically, it's just a spacer, it's a little bushing, and all it does, it slides into the hub, end cap goes back on, and then we can put it onto the bike. So now it works the way it's supposed to for Mavic. Pull it out, drop it out, stays in, stays captive in the hub just like it's supposed to. So here we have a higher end hub, boutique style hub that is not supposed to be working with the Mavic Speed Release system. And with a simple little addition, we're able to get it to work the way that it's supposed to. Very basic, very easy setup. And this is the kind of stuff we do here at PSIMET. So if you ever need anything like this, drop us a line.